they get artists signed to them, but they not really artists. Those are their street guys. So they'll sign people saying that they artists, but really whole time they on payroll for being a street hitter. So keep that in mind, bro. It's just all bad news. We never heard no statement from Yo Gotti or nothing like that. And the reason he's mad at Blac Youngsta is because it's exposing CMG. That's why they didn't drop Blac Youngsta from the label. Blac Youngsta is Heavy Camp, who got a cosign with CMG and Yo Gotti. So the reason they ain't cut ties, even though Blac Youngsta is not making no type of actual bread, like he's broke by standards of actual active getting money rapper right now. He's actually broke because he's not getting the same for the shows. You know how everybody say the prices went up. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Well, it's the opposite for Blac Youngsta. It's a cheaper price to book Blac Youngsta now than when he first came out. I mean, it was already cheap. Now it's damn near free. So, but who want to hear that, right? Now, Blac Youngsta, he kind of put when he came out and did the diss, he put attention to CMG and Gotti. So Gotti was mad at him, but he didn't drop him off the label. So that means Gotti was just salty that he did the diss song and dropped it early because they had plans of dropping the disc. Don't forget, Gotti got an entire album coming out, and they was really about to drop the album right after the funeral. So don't tell me it's a coincidence that Dolph just had an album, Key just had the album, like it just came out, and Yo Gotti was about to drop his album, and it just so happened that Dolph gets taken out while Yo Gotti got an album that he's getting ready to release. So they got all this attention now to Yo Gotti's album. So once Yo Gotti actually drops that album, all this attention from all this news, all of y'all are going to be clicking to listen to his album, to listen for the diss songs. So if Yo Gotti put any diss song on that album, first of all, he shouldn't even drop that album. Yo Gotti should just quit rapping, hang it up, move to Canada or something, because the feds is after that man. They is going to be actually, they could put a Rico on CMG. And you know what? Like, I don't pray for nobody to get in trouble. Like, I honestly wish that we could just handle our own things personally and all that stuff. But hey, by the looks of it, you can't rule out that CMG could have a Rico case put on him. I'm not saying they're going to, and I'm not saying that they deserve to have one or that they should. I don't wish that upon anybody at all, actually. But if you really look at through the years and everything and all the people tied to CMG, each one of them people's individual cases is bad. And then the fact that they actually have one thing in common, which is that they all are trying to represent CMG, or they shout it out, or it's in their name, or they show loyalty, or they're signed to it, or they affiliate themselves with it one way or another. When their charges are, when somebody got a charge that's on a federal level, and maybe multiple people, right? And you could find one thing in common, like a group that they call themselves that they connected to, that's your actual foundation for a RICO case. Because now you have the affiliation of a group that's committing these crimes. They're committing the crime separately, but at one point they're all together and they can get caught up in the conspiracy. So that's how a CMG RICO case could go down. Because now we're finding there's too many people that's tied in with CMG that's getting in trouble. And it's only a matter of time until the feds realize that they want to pick up a RICO case. So why would they even want to do that? Well, let me tell you this. They already got Dolph years ago, 10 years ago, with 130K that they took from them. Now that Dolph's gone, the only people they could take from is CMG. So they are quietly putting together their plan to get CMG because it's going to end up being what Dolph brought in on his own 10 years ago. CMG, out of all these years, saying all this money that they got, they're going to have something that the feds are going to want to take, just like how they took it from Dolph. Because now ain't nobody else to take from but CMG. So there's two things that's going to happen. Either they Rico CMG, they seize all their assets and everything, and they, you know, put that, the Fed, they get to, by the way, the feds get in the 12, they get to keep all that money. That's their motivation. They don't have to give that money to the, to like, to the bank or whoever, right? Like they don't have to give that to nobody. They actually, any money that 12 and Fed sees is now theirs to use for their own department. They can go buy Trackhawks, Hellcats to do police chases in. They can go buy helicopters. They can militarize their police, but it's their money now. So it's a real big motivation. It's a real perk for these 12 to and feds to actually put something together to get a big CMG Rico case so they can get the most amount of assets that they seize, the most amount of money that they could seize, because they could seize money that's kept somewhere, or if it's money that is apparently tied with CMG, like it could be from their bank, it could be like a house they have or something. You never know. So they can actually have a chance to take them all down. But they gonna lead. So that's one way. The other way that could happen is that, you know, in Memphis, these 12, they used to actually let the organized stuff happen with the mob. So it seemed like the 12 already picked sides, that actually the 12 was siding with Yo Gotti, because you know Yo Gotti had run-ins with the law back in the day, but he had his run-ins with the law before Dolph did. So Yo Gotti's name was already out there, and he could have snitched, he could have told and everything. Listen, in 2016, in DJ Academic's video, you could see where Young Dolph goes live and he says that he got back in Memphis and he found out that Yo Gotti wanted to press charges on him, and he sent the police to his locations and all that stuff. They were looking for him. He had got served papers when he got right back to Memphis. And he came out and said that Yo Gotti wasn't trying to come out and speak after that and on any of those situations, and he would send his little dudes to do all the talking for him and try to do all his dirty work for him. But Gotti actually sent and tried to press charges on Dolph. That's why he actually is considered to be a snitch. This is known information, but y'all gotta look if you want to look for yourself. So that these 12 is on Yo Gotti's side from then on. The DA, anybody, he probably picked a lawyer who has some strings they could pull with the DA and everything. And he probably told and got them to be on his side. So he could say, hey, you got this Dolph guy, you got this other guy that you could go get. Don't mess with me. And that's how CMG and Yo Gotti actually was able to stick around for so long, was because they actually was the ones who possibly could have been telling and putting the feds and the 12 on to all the other people that they could take their money from, or that they could book them and all this stuff. Because they was letting all these, because it really looked like that now, because now it's not like the 12 is going to CMG and interviewing them or questioning them about anything. You haven't seen that yet. You haven't seen that. They could be in the back, in the background and all that stuff, but I doubt it. I doubt it. They're really only going to be, the actual Memphis 12 are not looking at any CMG people, because for years they have already gotten their loyalty bought by CMG and Gotti. And so they let the CMG dudes run around. That's why you haven't seen nothing pop up yet about an actual lead that they have from out of their mouth. So that's one thing that that's the option two, is where they actually leave the CMG dudes and don't touch them, but the feds could still get them. So that's an interesting thing. And the feds aren't gonna get. They're not gonna say that CMG had MPD on their payroll. They're not gonna say that. They're gonna, at the end of the day, it's basically, if the feds had to come in, MPD will cooperate and they'll throw CMG under the bus. But if the feds don't come in, then the MPD is going to filter everything and make sure that nobody hears anything that has the CMG involvement in it. That there are more people than the ones that were in the white Benz. There was also another set of two dudes that were hopping out the back and got in that Tahoe. And we have two witnesses. The first witness is the one that went missing. She said she seen two cars, and one car was the white car, and the other was all blacked out, and it was full of ninjas. So if the now pay attention, everybody was thinking that the light colored Tahoe from the gas station, they think that that's the same Tahoe that picked up the dudes that ran out the back of the cookie shop. That's not true. The Tahoe from the gas station is a different car than the Tahoe or other truck that was at the Family Dollar that picked them back up. The one that the witness saw that said it was all black full of dudes, that's a different car. The people in the Tahoe that's at the gas station could have been the people that were just following him and were supposed to record. But the dudes in the all black Tahoe, they actually were actual hitters with the getaway drivers in it. And speaking of getaway driver, like that white car, they're saying that the two dudes that ran out of the white car, one of them came out the back seat because one dude was already at the window aiming his stuff low, and the other guy was still running, and he was by the car still. If he's by the car still and one dude is already almost up at the window, then he must have got out the back, and that's why he was delayed. It's a two-door car, so he had to get out the back seat. You're going to have to move the front seat forward and then get out slowly, or he going to try to get out quick, but it's going to take him a little bit longer than the other guy who just has to jump out that door. So obviously it take you a little bit longer if you got to jump out the back seat of a two-door. So it's a getaway driver that they need to find, because the people that in the white car, it was the driver for him and then the two people that got out. Because the one dude got out the back, that's why he was delayed. And when they, because so that way when they get back in, the car goes moving right away. And then there's also a getaway driver for the black car, the big SUV truck, like the Tahoe. The black car got a getaway driver too, so that way when the people from Family Dollar get in the car, it goes moving right away. They're not the people that actually drove the car. They sit in the car and they got a person to drive away quickly. That's the whole operation.